Good morning to everybody. How are we doing today? For those who don't know, my name is Randy Eastman. I'm the peripatetic teacher for music at the Ministry of Education. So today, we have two sessions planned for you. The first one is arranging for brass. I'm not going to tell you what the second session is. But yesterday, you missed a good set of performance. Those who are not here from teachers all over the island. We have more teacher performers again today, a lot of teachers who are delivering. So like I said to the group yesterday, take in everything that you can. Those who are here again today, please write it down in your booklets, memorize what is being said, because you have a huge advantage here with the persons who are presenting and those who are playing. All right, so for our first session, the gentleman who is going to present to you, funny enough, is my mentor when I was at school. Yes, he's my mentor. When I was in first form, he was the sergeant major of the Barbados Cadet Corps at the number 3 company, Colmere School. Up and on? Up and on? All right, right, up and on. Good. Good. he was also the number 1 trumpeter in the Barbados Cadet Corps band. He went on to the Barbados Defense Force, and he joined the Barbados Defense Force band, and he's also a music educator. He's the teacher, one of the music teachers at Darrell Jordan Secondary. He was a musician in the Boogie Nights band at a very, very young age. He also plays with the Soca Monarch band, and when you hear this story, as one of the youngest members to ever join the band, within a matter of 10 years, Ryan was promoted to the director of music for the Soca Monarch band, right? And that is formidable. That is a huge task. So give him a clap for those achievements that he has made. From the Darrell Jordan Secondary, he was able to establish several pop bands over the years, and the very popular Phoenix Steel Orchestra came out of that school, and he's been able to take that band not only on the local market, but now on the international market, because members of that band are touring on several ships throughout the year performing, right? So Phoenix Steel is not only local, it's now gone with an international leg. Ryan is also a composer. He's an arranger. He's arranged for several Soca Monarch finals, several songs on the radio. Fortunately, we work together in the studio along with Mr. Bernard Yearwood. We call ourselves Burning Brass. And we've done a number of arrangements over the years. So today, you're privileged to have the brain of Master Ryan Blackman arranging for brass for you. So put your hands together for him as he comes and delivers.
Good morning, everyone. He called me Master Blackman, but just Ryan, Mr. Blackman, all right? Again, welcome to day 2 of this program. A lot of stuff that you're going to cover today, the basics of it was covered yesterday in terms of your arranging ideas. We talked about harmonization yesterday. I know some people went into the basic thing of spelling chords, etc. from scales. So some of this you will cover. But today we're dealing with brass. But when you hear brass, what is it essentially that the people are really talking about? What you know a brass instrument to be? Anybody? Yes, what? A trumpet, cool. Brass is made of brass, yes. Anybody else? Again? Saxophone? Yes. In this part of the world, when we're talking about brass, we are talking about the combination of those aerophones. We all know what aerophones are. Yes, sir? Say again? Yes, trombone. Correct. What's an aerophone in terms of classifying instruments? Come on, CXC students. Yes, sir? A main instrument? Okay, yes. Anything that you use air to vibrate, etc. So you got to remember that you got to use your jargon when you're speaking, okay? All right, anyway, moving forward, when we talk about brass, we're speaking in this setting about the combination of those instruments. Trumpet, alto sax, tenor sax, trombone. We will normally see in a tent setting or a band setting. So we're talking about arranging for those instruments. So before we get started and diving in, have a listen to this. All right, as we listen to this, the brass is about to come back up, so I want you to pay attention to what you hear. All right, so that was the Dapper Rhythm that was done a while back. It was produced by the Noise Boys, and it featured some of the same persons you see in this room. Mr. Clark on saxophone, doing his solo, Mr. Eastman, myself. Actually, almost every brass player that we could find at the time came together to play on this rhythm as a tribute to a friend. But what I want you to pay attention to is that you heard the following. This pum pum pa da 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 dum. That opening calling was all in what Mr. Fardy was alluding to in unison, where all of the instruments at the time were playing that. And then the contrast, pum pum pa da, brought them into harmonies. So those concepts are what we are going to be talking about today, using brass in your arrangement with these 5 basic concepts. So let's move forward. In doing a brass arrangement, first thing up, where would you begin? So like writing your first arrangement or composition can be like a daunting or exciting task, right? At the same time. Now, where do we all start? Where do we get our ideas from? Yesterday, you touched on some of these ideas. So briefly, I can talk about the planning, next one, the development, and the completion of this task. Now, as CXC students, one thing you must bear in mind is how you plan your project. So if we start at the completion phase, we know about SBA deadlines is X time. So let me work backwards from where we are and try to put our idea together. So I'm going to ask you, like, when you're doing your stuff, make sure that you have an idea of your small goals. Like, say today, I'm going to look at the melody of the song by this time. Then I can add the harmony to the song by X time and plan it out. However, while doing this, I implore you to write it down in a way. This is my reasoning for it. When you sit down in front of your invigilator now and have the vivivoce session, which is you speaking to the invigilator, and he asks you about your arrangement or your composition. For example, let's say we're doing an arrangement, a brass arrangement to John Belly Mama, right? And you're given a lead sheet. The lead sheet is the melody with the chords. Then you have to figure out, shoot, what John Ray can do this in? I like soca, yeah. But why soca though? Why choose soca? Because he can ask you those questions, yeah? If you choose reggae, why reggae? And then tell man, give me a reggae artist. And you don't know that, but why you do reggae? I just do it because I like it, sir. You know what I'm saying? So you try to journal your stuff when you do your planning so that you can have a conversation with your invigilator about the exam process. That part for me is why I really wanted to allude to here. So when you're doing your planning, your basic ideas, even if it's something as simple as, shoot, I got this rhythm I want. Sir, help me with this rhythm. Your teacher assists you with the rhythm, etc. Don't be ashamed to say, my teacher assisted me with this rhythm, blah, 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 blah. Speak about it. Be able to speak about it in your own word and your own term. Have a conversation about your project. Because that's what that section is about. And that's all I wanted to really allude to in this section. So in your planning and the development, when I say development, it's quite straightforward. We got melody today. I can reharm this tomorrow. I don't like this rhythm. We choose something else different. We talk about my form. I want verse, a chorus, a bridge, or as Mr. World said, boy, I want transition from love to war. I hope we can get this due. You get where I came from? So in that development stage, write it down and plan it. Give yourself realistic deadlines to achieving it based on your busy schedule of TikTok, Instagram. So just try to get it done. And then completion, yeah? But take it seriously and actually try to get it done in a smart fashion. Anyway, let's move forward. So, these are the 5 concepts that we're going to be dealing with today. First up, We're going to be writing simple harmony to a given melody and chord progression, right? Then we're going to be using rhythm to create motion, or the idea of motion, for those same very chords. Thirdly, harmonizing the melody with chord tones, which we will discuss in depth. Adding textures, as Mr. As Mr. Farley alluded to earlier this morning, adding textures, doubling the melody, adding harmony, using a mute, etc. Adding textures with doubling melody in unison, and last but not least, the use of unison passages versus harmony passages. So those are the 5 areas we're going to be looking at today. So, what's up? This is the stimuli we can be using for today's presentation. As I said, John Belly Mama. So we know this folk song, right? We know this. Because you know yesterday, apparently y'all did not know Yellow Bird. I mean, it's a Jamaican folk song. So I didn't expect you to know it, but you should know it. You're from this part of the world. We know John Belly Mama? For you? All right. Nah, after 2. 1, 2, 2, 2. John Belly Mama. All right, cool. So when I know that one, shoot. All right, so this is the first 4 bars of that extract. Nice job, though, guys. In key and pitch, well done. If you look at the extract itself, what do you see at the top of it? This is what you call a lead sheet, by the way. Melody and chords to it. If you can see it from that distance. You have the melody written, the first 4 bars. Mind you, this is in the key of F, and it's in cut time, as in 2 beats a bar. 1, 2, 1, 2, da 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 da, etc., etc. What do you see at the top? What are those letters? Say again? Yes, those are the chords for the song. Now, if you look at how the chords are placed, at the beginning of the first bar, the F is there, so that covers that bar. In bar 2, there are 2 chords, the first beat and the second beat. And then it goes on in that pattern all the way down. This is going to come into play into the next section that we are moving on to. So, just for reference, the scale for today is F. So if you don't know it, write it down. Because we're going to be using it today to build our chords. If you don't know it, write it down. F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. And if I number it from left to right, 1 to 8. Same thing Mr. World did yesterday. And I know in most of the breakout rooms, the chord spelling that was done, that is going to definitely come into play at this point. So we have it down as yet? All right. I assume we're done. Moving forward. Primary chords. Can anyone tell me what is meant by the term primary chords? Anyone want to hazard a guess or knows? You say the main chords. So they got on main chords, for lack of a better expression. I just ask it. Say again? First 3 chords? Actually, in a major scale, the primary chords, or you say the main chords, which is a good answer, are chords 1, 4, and 5 of every scale. So if we look at the F major scale just now, chord 1 would have been F. If you're using scale degrees and you count up, B flat would have been 4, and C would have been 5. So you have the F chord, which is chord 1, B flat chord, which is chord 4, and the C chord, which is chord 5. However, in this extract, we have a C7, which is a 7th chord, which we will deal with a little later. But for now, I'm looking at the basic triad. What's a triad? Yes, please. A chord made up of 3 notes. Well done. I was going to say go straight to the head of the class, but you're already here. So move on to the next slide there, please. All right, so let's spell those major triads. F major, write them down in your book. Spell them out for me. For those who don't know, write out the 3 notes of each of those. If you understand the principle, for those who don't know, let's go back to yesterday. Your F major scale that you just wrote out comprises of 8 notes. Let's start at F, the first letter. Let's call that letter 1. And we count up to the 3rd note. So you get F as 1, G as 2, A as 3. That would be the 2nd note in that triad. And then from 3, we move up again. So we move into A, B flat, and then C. C being 5. So the principle is 1, 3, 5. where the letter that you start on is 1, you count up to the 3rd letter, and then the 5th, and that is how you form your triads. So for those who don't know, that's the idea. Please spell out the chords there so for me, write them down, because you are going to be using them in this examples, for all the examples today. Say again? But when I say spelling the card, as in listing out the letters in the card, as in F, A, and C for the first one, we write in capital letters around here. So just list them out for me. And once we finish that, let's move forward. So first up, we're going to be dealing with simple harmony. Simple harmony, those supporting notes for the melody. And we're going to be dealing with 2 ideas, a block chord idea and simple voice leading. So this is for simple harmony. So let's look at block chords. A definition for block chords can be this. A block chord is a chord built directly below the melody. They are normally played on the strong beat of each bar of the music. Hence why when I asked you earlier where the chords are placed at the beginning of each of the bar, which is considered the strong beat. We're doing 2 beats here, so 1, 2, 1, 2. First beat being the strong beat, all right? So, and they actually, look at English. So they form the harmonic support for the melody, or harmony support for the melody. So you have the melody and then the harmony. But this is done in its simplest form, building blocks, if you really want to look at it that way. So let's take a look at an example of what I'm talking about block chords. Now on the screen is a score. And as you can see, the instruments are listed on the left. So we're talking about a brass section here, where you have the trumpet in B flat, the alto sax, the tenor sax, and the trombone. This score is in concert, where all of the instruments are viewed in the key of F. So any notes that we talk about will be in the key of F. They're not transposed for the instruments. So again, at the top, the trumpet has the melody and the lead sheet that we showed earlier with the first 4 bars of John Belly. But let's look now at how we can build block chords. I'm going to start from the bottom in the trombone section. Trombone is in bass clef. Now for the F triad that we spelled out just now, what are the 3 notes in that triad? F, A, and C. So a good approach to block chords, and if you have a section like this, where you have the trombone being the lowest instrument in the family, in terms of its sound, which we'll get to shortly, I would give that the tonic note, or the first note of the chord, F. And you can see it there, F on the 4th line in bass clef. Now, if you stack the notes now, we move it up to the tenor. So the tenor will play the 3rd, which is the A. Say again? Yes, tenor is when you transpose it, it will be written in treble clef. But I think for the program, Mr. Farley or Mr. Yearwood is octave on the 9th. Right, so they put it in bass clef here. So when you write it, in terms of the ranges, it's easier to write. But when you transpose it, then it will go to its original format. But it's in bass clef at this point. So therefore, the A, as you can see, there's on the top line. So you have the F in the trombone at the bottom, and then the A on the top line there, the 5th line for the tenor. Then we move up to the next note, C. We give that to the alto because, in my opinion, the alto literally can, in this scenario, play the higher harmonies. So C will be higher, the tenor will be in the middle, and then the F at the bottom will be the bass section. If you think of it that way, soprano, alto, tenor, bass, like a choir, where the soprano playing the melody and all the supporting notes falling from top to bottom or bottom to top. That is the approach here for block chords, right? So then now you place them. Say this is in 2/2. So each note corresponds to a chord. Where the first, so you use a whole note in this case. This represents 2 beats. So that's ta, and then you realize the next bar has 2 chords. One on beat 1, one on beat 2. So you voice it the same way. If you look at it, it's F again, and you're using the exact same notes for the F in the 2nd bar. All C? If you look at it, from the bottom up, F in the bottom, A, and then C again. So the same F chord. And then this principle is applied across the board with all the rest of the chords. And in this case, I am following what the chords are doing. The chords are playing this rhythm. Ta, 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 ta. As in 1, 2, 1, 2, and ta. So we use that rhythm to form the chords. So you can ask the ensemble to come on stage so we can have a demonstration of what you see here and an understanding of it. So ladies and gentlemen, if you could join us on stage, please. Right, so they're going to join us on stage so we can play this excerpt for you so you can have an idea what it sounds like. So as the ensemble comes on stage, you remember you sang John Belly Mama for me just now, so you know the melody. So I can show you. Oh, okay, yeah. How we can get this here worked out. Yeah, covered. So again, just to reiterate, remember the block chord system or the idea is using those chords from the bottom up, from the lowest instrument to the highest instrument as we have it there. So on the stage now, we'll be joined by Mr. Yearwood. He's playing trombone. If you don't know what trombone look like, that's the trombone. So that will be the lowest instrument in this family here. And then Captain Cole is playing the alto. Mr. Farley will play the tenor sax part here for me, but that's on the alto sax. So he's doing something that you eventually will learn to do, transpose for an instrument, because we don't have an actual tenor, but it can sound the same. Mr. Clark is playing the soprano sax. He'll be playing the actual melody as well, joining the trumpet. All right, so on stage we have a basic brass ensemble that you will see in a tent situation, or even when you have a gig situation, you can use a brass ensemble. Say again? Oh, sorry. You can use the brass ensemble to do performances, etc., and not just supporting artists on stage. At the back, we have the rhythm section, brass, as you were, keyboard, bass, guitar, and drums. So what we can do first is have the brass section themselves demonstrate the sound, and then we can add the rhythm section to it. So in true style, before we start, ladies and gentlemen, B flat chord, after 2, 1, 2. Okay, cool. Messiah, you good? All right, so we're going to, only the brass. We're going to play the A, only A, the first 4 bars, all right? We are A. So after 2 bars for nothing. 1, 2, 2, 2. All right, cool. So together, that's what it sounds like. Right? Now, all I can ask Miss Payne and Mr. Clark to do, play the melody for me. 1, 2, 2, and. Good. So as according to the chart there, we're voicing from bottom up. I can ask Mr. Yearwood to join the ensemble so you can hear what the role of the lower note is in this case. Let's go again. Yeah, 2 y'all. You and Bernard. 1, 2, 2, and. So he's technically playing the foundation of all the chords, the F to the B flat to the C. And when you voice them out with everybody else playing the third in the tenor sax and the fifth in the alto, without the melody, this is what it sounds like. So everyone except the melody. 1, 2, 2, and. 1, 2, move, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, da, da. That's just simple harmonization of the melody, yeah? Just using block chords. And it's simple, boring, vanilla, whatever. But it's a start. For those who've never done it, it's a start. Okay? So, you got an ensemble behind you. So what else can you do with it? Let's say we want to play in soca. Same simple chords, but soca. Everybody together, first 4 bars. Calypso. 1, 2, 2, and. And that's basically it. and all of a sudden you have a tune. Just by simply adding the rhythm section to it, and the guys in the back know the genre is soca. We're playing soca, we got the chords, and you add that to it. And all of a sudden, your song has gone from being boring to music. Yeah? So the genre, choosing the genre is just as important as writing it out. So, let's move forward. Now, these here were done in root position. When I say root position, when you spelt the chords just now, F, A, C, B flat, D, F, C, E, G. Voice leading now is the process from moving from one chord to the other. Where the individual instruments, I should say, move from one chord to the other in an arrangement. It is best done when it goes smoothly. So there are two ways to approach it. If you have one note that applies to both chords, to the chord you're starting on and the chord you're going to, that person can keep that note. Or the other persons or the inner parts can move stepwise up or down to the next note in the chord. So here's an example of that. So block chord using voice leading ideas. Same chords. If you notice now at the bottom, bar 1. Okay, by the way, just to clarify, top is trumpet, the second one is alto, the third is tenor, and the bottom is trombone as previous. You won't see the names on the side. All right, cool. So you see the trombone at the bottom there playing F, but in the second bar, instead of him moving from the F to the D that he did earlier, you did move from F to D? F to B flat, sorry. You see he's holding the F in the second bar for the two half notes. So he's keeping the note because the F also appears in the B flat chord, correct? No other notes in the B flat chord. Spell them for me. B flat, not B. B flat, D, F. What are the notes in the F major chord? F. So F, that chord tone can pass to both chords, right? So you stick to the closest one. If you look at the tenor, the line above, tenor originally played A, what, up to, in the second bar?
I have an A, D.
In the second bar?
Yeah.
Right. The tenor went, say again? Oh, you're going back, thank you. So if you look at the tenor went from A to D, right? So in this excerpt that is coming now, the tenor goes from A to B flat. So keeping it as close as possible. So you move it to the closest note in the next chord. That's all the idea is. Moving from where you are to the closest note in the next chord. Either by keeping the same note if they are part of the same chord, or moving up or down stepwise. Everybody understand the idea? If I'm moving or you don't understand, let me know. We understand the idea? Okay. Don't all just jump in at the same time. So somebody explain it to me then. Tum, tum, tum. No one? No takers? All right, let me move forward. I can explain it. So just remember, from the first idea that you had, where you just have the chords, when you move to the next chord, voice leading is moving smoothly from one chord to the next. If the notes from one chord appear in the next chord, that person can stay. If not, you can move up to the next possible note or move down to the next possible note. It gives a different texture. So harmony people, let's play excerpt A. Let's hear what that one sounds like first, and then we play excerpt B. No melody, just harmony. Down the brass. So excerpt A. 1, 2, 2, and. That was the original voicing. So we can play the one that's on the board now, which is excerpt B. Different voicing. 1, 2, 2, and. Yeah, the tenor part, yeah. Similar but different. Yeah. No problem. Let's have that again. Say again. After 2. 1, 2, 2, and. It gives a different voice because the trombone now has a more tenor feel and change the idea of it. And all we have to do is add the melody and the rhythm section to it. And this is what it sounds like, but we can do it in spooch. Spooge. 1, 2, 2. And that is simple voice leading. All it does is changes the idea of the harmony. Still simple, nothing complex. When you start to move it now, change your whole voice, see what you're going to next, then you will see how the harmonies change. So that was block chords and block chord voice leading. So let's move on to this next concept. Rhythmic ideas, what they call harmony in motion. This is taking those same block chord ideas and adding rhythms to it. These rhythms will tend to complement the genre that you're in, if possible, or they complement the melody, if possible. When I say rhythms, right now we're just playing simple chords blocking. So we add rhythm to those chords to add a different idea or give the idea of momentum or forward motion. Somebody might say adding excitement to a piece. So let's take a look at an example. Same idea. However, Mr. Worrell alluded yesterday to motifs. I took the motifs from the first two bars of the melody, which is ta, 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 ta. And I used that to create rhythm for the remainder of the chords. However, in bar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I maintain the block chord idea, 5 and 6, just for difference. So you have this rhythm of ta, 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 giving the melody some sort of harmonic motion idea underneath of it. All right? So let's play it. And mind you, this is the same voice leading chords that we have from before. Nothing's changed. All we did was add a rhythm to it. So let's hear the everyone except the melody and hear what that sounds like. So 1, 2, 2, and. All I did was add simple rhythm to it. Same chords, but simple rhythm. However, this sort of supports the melody more because the melodic rhythm and this is the same. All right? Except for bar 5 and 6, where we just give it that open feel by playing chord notes, just to give a different idea. So let's do it together without the rhythm section. So melody join. 1, 2, 2, and. Different idea to the same song. So, what just say now? Reggae. 1, 2. Sorry. Oh? Okay, reggae. 1, 2, 2, and that's the idea. Because, yeah, simple, very simple. As I tell you, this basic stuff. If you listen to reggae music, it has a lot of saxophone, chorale playing their lines and stuff. So that was where the idea came from. But I took the motif from the first two bars of the melody, that ta, ta, just to create an idea. However, you can do things more advanced. You can do things more advanced. And in this evening session, you will see what I'm talking about when Mr. Ford talks about rhythms and comping. Because for soca, they got a particular rhythm. For reggae, they got a particular rhythm. If you choose to, you can use those rhythms to play your part. Yeah? But right now, this is just simple rhythms to add some sort of motion to the idea. Like, instead of boring, we're going something different. Yeah? That's the development stage of it. We're going from simple to rhythmic ideas. Any idea that you come up with and you can conceive, and once you get work out and put, yeah, make sure it sounds good to you. All right? Good. So we're moving on now to right. Harmonizing using chord tones. But what are chord tones? By definition, chord tones are the individual notes. We just went through that just now, spelling out F-A-C, B-flat, D-F, C-E-G. However, chord tones can apply across the board because some chords some notes of some chords exist in more than one chord. It's still the chord tone of that. However, for example, the chord tone of an F major triad, and those individual notes are F, A, and C. Anywhere they can be found in the arrangement. So A anyway is still part of F, but it's also part of A minor. But it's still a chord tone. Yeah? So it's not specific to one chord, it's specific to the chords that those notes are for. But let's use a basic idea of it. Everybody understood that idea? F, A, and C are from F, but A, C, E is part of A minor, but A and C is still there. So there's still chord tones from F, but it also chord tones from A minor. Basic sense, yeah? Basic. All right, cool. Moving forward. Yeah, that's good. So in this example now, the voicing is slightly different. I will call it the notes for you, especially in the tenor sax part, because it's gone into the higher range of the bass clef. Now, in this scenario, the trombone at the bottom, I guided the trombone using the chords, the first note in the chords for this piece. First chord is F, F, A, C. Trombone plays F on the fourth line. In bar 2, he plays F and B flat, so all the root of those chords, he plays F, B flat. Next chord is C, he goes to C. So he follows what the chords are doing from chord 1. Cool? Just like the block chords. But now, look at this part now. Let's look at the alto part, which is the second stave. The note starts on A, which is part of the F chord. If you see, the melody is playing C at the top for the trumpet. So the next note in that chord is A, and if you put them close together, the A is right under the C. So this is a close harmony idea, if you want to look at it that way. So the A is right under that. And all I did after that was the next note in the chord in the tenor sax. Unfortunately, for those people who don't read bass clef that high, right, F concert. So you can double notes. You can double notes if you don't have enough instruments to spread it. And in this case, the trombone and the tenor were playing something similar for the first bar. And we voice lead and went to F with the tenor sax in the second bar. They kept those notes. So it's the same idea, but they're closer. The harmonies are closer. They're not as spread out as they were before. So let's hear what that sounds like. And they're using the same rhythm of the melody. They're playing the exact same rhythm of the melody, but all in full chords. Everybody understood what I just said? Right. Once you understand, because all I did, trombone plays what the chords are doing, the very first note of each chord. Every other chord is voiced as close as possible. Trumpet has the C from the F chord. Alto has the A. The tenor sax double on the F, and we move forward and move forward. Just keeping the harmonies very close. So let's hear what that sounds like all together. No rhythm section, just the players. 1, 2, 2, and. Because the harmonies get closer on this side between the alto and the tenor. So it's not as wide. So let's go again. 1, 2, 2, and. So for that type of idea, you would try something like this. A ballad. I ain't going at my tempo. A 1, 2, 2, and. That type of idea works for that type of feel and that type of thing, because you can use it as your introduction and then down the road with spooge or reggae as the case may be. Yeah. So that is just another idea, using the harmonies as close as possible with the chord tones from the chords in the song. All right? All understood so far? So adding texture. Mr. Fordy talked about this morning, where you could add a mute to a trumpet. Yeah, you bring it. You know, right? That's cool. That's cool. To give a different sound. But the way I am doing it is using the following concepts, where 2 or more instruments play the melody, or if all the instruments play the melody. So we're talking about melody doubling and unison passages. So let's go for the melody doubling. This is when 2 instruments in the arrangement are given the melody or assigned the melody. in this scenario, it is done two ways. In the first 4 bars, the trumpet and alto have the melody, and in the next 4 bars, the trombone and trumpet have the melody. All right? So let me look at that extract there. So if you look at it, the alto sax, which is the second line, and the trumpet all have the melody for the first 4 bars. And then for the last 4 bars, at the bottom, the trombone and the trumpet have the melody. What this does now is add a different voice, because the alto is lighter in song, but however, it cuts off the edge of the brass and gives you a warmer sound. While the trombone has a darker sound on the other side and give you a bigger, more robust feel. So let's see if we can have that experience in this extract. All horn players. All right, so after 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Try that again. I should have written the dynamic levels that I want, where you're a forte and you're an end, Bernard. And in the beginning, yeah, same thing for the alto joining. So that you can hear the difference in the voicing. All right, so 1, 2, 2, again. Alto up top. That's the alto up top there with the brighter sound, trombone join. So it gives a different feel altogether, where you have the sweet song of the alto taking over the melody with the trumpet, and then a more robust song of the trombone at the end. So let's do this in dub, please. Let's do this in dub. 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, and. And as you just saw, Mr. World added the same melody in the texture in the bass, which was great, and you can do that as well. It adds a whole different light to the song. And this is only 4 bars. It's so much you can explain in 4 bars, right? But it's just to give you an insight of it. Because when we break out, that is where the work can happen. But it adds a different. Anybody heard the difference, or I just talking harder? You can hear it? Okay, cool. So let me move forward. All right. So unison. What is unison? This is when 2 or more voices or instruments play the same musical part that either sound the same pitch or pitches interval of octave or more apart. So they either at the same pitch or octave or more apart. In the example that's coming, the trombone and the tenor sax, I think, are at the same octave, while the alto and trumpet are octaves apart. What's octave? What's octave? Do I have octave going once, going twice? Anyone? Meaning 8? Yeah, so, yeah. Yes, please. If you look at the scale, the first note is 8 notes away from the top. It's the same name. One is octave up or octave down, as the case may be. 8 notes away. Different pitches. So this is all unison. Unison passages are very important because you can use it to invoke fear, the different texture. You want it to be robust. You want them to play according to a friend of mine, Bigley. You want the whole melody to come out. So this is a unison passage where everybody is playing the melody. Everybody. 1, 2, 2, and. How this changes now is if you add different markings or dynamic levels to it. Let me punch it like a march. Let me punch it like a march. A march. 1, 2, 2, and. So it gives a whole different idea. You could then play as loud as possible, but however, when any instrument joins in on the melody, the volume should automatically come up. So we can play this with the rhythm section using this pattern. Military style. All right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, and. got that martial idea. Yeah? So that unison passage gives a different texture. But how do you really tell the difference? Let us compare the two. Unison versus harmony. So this one now is contrast. Now we've had passages which were sweet with harmony and passages which were robust with unison. This is also a good technique to showcase what is going on, different ideas, to give you a different feel to the entire song. So this is how we're going to do it. So in this excerpt, we have the first 4 bars being played unison like how they were just now, and then the last 4 bars answering antiphonal call and response idea. So first 4 unison calling, the next 4 answering in harmony. So we can use it that type of way, a call and response, or verses in the case may be. So give it a different idea for your song. However, I can just do the brass players first, and then I can explain to the rhythm section how we can switch between the two. So unison first, and then harmony afterwards. So let's go. 1, 2, 2, and. Two different ideas, contrast, yeah? Real simple, real straightforward. And if you apply those simple 5 things to what you want to do for your arrangement, it can make a difference. However, when you discuss your arrangement with your teacher, you want to do things more advanced, discuss it with them. Tell them, we'd like to try what we did yesterday. Let me reharm this area, and then apply the same ideas or something different. So this is just a basic approach to using brass for an arrangement. So let me show you now what could be done with this. So 1, 2, 2, and. Contrast. Yeah? Good. So basically, that is my presentation for today on that. So I have a couple questions here. Let me just summarize here a bit. Today, we looked at simple harmony to a given melody, right? And chord progression. We then went on to using rhythm to create motion, or the idea of motion, what they call harmony and motion. We use close harmonies, mirroring the melody with chord tones. My eyes failing me. We added textures by using melody doubling, 2 or more instruments playing the melody, and then unison passages. And then we did the contrast between unison passages and melody passages. Those are the 5 basic ideas for arranging brass. There are a lot more, and in this world, Google is your friend. Google is your friend. There are a lot of examples online, but this is the basic stuff that I use to approach doing horns. And it'll save you sometimes in a quick rush and you want to get something done. You simply write it out. Either we're using block chords today, we add a different rhythm or harmony as the case may be. But before we move forward, gentlemen, ladies, thank you. There is a real world application to this, you know. Yes, give the ensemble a, please, I beg you. How can you apply this in the real world? When I say the real world, not that we're not living in it, in a working setting, because I assume that we are doing this subject, if you like it and you want to do music, you could go on to do the many jobs that apply to music, whether it be DJing, artists, sound, etc. But in the arranging world now, where you would have seen a presentation from the Barbados Police Service Band, where they have all the wind instruments, these techniques can be applied to arrange music for it. All right? And as you will see in the presentation coming later from the Barbados Regiment. I'm going to give you an excerpt of some stuff that was done a while back. It's 2019. Yeah, I can do walks first. 2019? See, I mean, yeah, it was the end of crop over as I know it. So what we had here, because this was done by at Quantum Studios by Mr. Eastman, and all we had was melody, chords, vocal, etc. We wanted something to enhance what was going on. So some of those techniques were put in place. But let me hear the original vocal first. That's possible? Yes, that's possible. This is what we had to work with.
Powder, problems again. Caribbean, but plenty nations out on the road, out on the road. We are the true champions of color, so come there we go. Get mad on the road when you the truck passing and we parading. Yeah, beauty now gonna explode when you dance in the street and everyone waving up. It's carnival, there we go. It is problems now. Hold together, chop chop. Wine and dish it, chop chop. Cock up your foot and chop chop. Everywhere is chop chop. Paint and water, chop chop. Oil and mud, chop chop. All of it, chop chop. Hold together, chop chop. When we touch.
So we had that. So imagine that on the radio with nothing else. That is, but it wasn't mixed at that point. That is what you had. So we had to find something to enhance it. So when you go to your composition idea now and creating things for brass, you don't have to go like cheese on bread, the melody singing one way, the harmony going somewhere, the chorus is this. What can we add to it? So this idea of arranging brass and putting things to a song, creating a motif based on what you hear, using the harmony that's there to to emphasize those rhythms that you had. We then come up with this idea. So this is adding brass to a given stimuli of just a song, nothing else. So this was the song when we added the brass. Before you go, and the brass in this case represented this section here: trumpet, tenor, alto, tenor, trombone. Yeah?
Powder, problems again. Caribbean, but plenty nations out on the road, out on the road. We are the true champions of color, so come there we go. Get mad on the road when you the truck passing and we parading. Yeah, beauty now gonna explode when you dance in the street and everyone waving up. It's carnival, there we go. It is problems now. Hold together, chop chop. Wine and dish it, chop chop. Cock up your foot and chop chop. Everywhere is chop chop. Paint and water, chop chop. Oil and money, chop chop. All of it, chop chop. Hold together, chop chop. When we touch.
And all of those were the same ideas that you all just did. All those lines in the beginning, those little stops and things were all unison. And then we spread them out into harmony there just now to support the chorus. So all of those things apply in the so-called real world setting, where we take the ideas and put them to a song. The stimuli for us was the song itself, the melody. So we had to make sure the horns don't clash with the melody, that they support the melody in this case versus being out front. And that, say again? Yeah. So you can hear these two ideas here. In the beginning, all is unison, octaves apart. Just stop. When into the harmonies you can hear. So that's what was doing the contrast. Unison, harmony, unison, harmony. Those are blocking the chords at that point. And then full harmony. That's the general idea. So applying the same techniques there to add some sort of color, texture, character to a song. One more example before we go. I think Mr. World, this one here so is the one that you score. 8 here. I bet you I actually want you to talk about it a little later, but when we do the breakout, I can get you to do something for me. Yes, please. So this is
action time again. Come. Oh my. Get up, get up. All in my seat. Everybody. All in my seat. Everybody.
Start again. So again, this came to us like this.
Action time again. Come. Oh my.
Actually, a lot worse than that.
Get up, here we go. All in my seat.
Take it out. This is what we had. Nothing else. No words, nothing. Master put brass to that. So when you studying and planning, you figure out how we can get my brass to fit this. What can I do? So studying the genre is important. Is that little bouillon Dominican thing going on? So I try to use stuff that comes from that era. So let me get started again. Let me show you what we did. But the way that pump, 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 pump. Where that come from? Sound real familiar. Pump, 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 pumping, pump, pumping, tom, tom, pum, pum, pa, dum, ta, dum, pum, pum, pi, dum, pa, dum, pum. Which is the idea that Mr. World put at the end, at the finals, which was good. Yeah, you, Amy. If you actually go and see the song online, we actually use the whole idea from it at the end. But this is just what we did to add some sort of character to the song in the last 2 minutes of this.
Action time again. Come. Oh my. Get up, get up. Everybody, everybody,
And that's basically the same idea. The pump, 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 that was actually taking the bass line and using it as a line. So it doesn't cloud anything else. You took that and added pump, pump, because the bass was playing ting tong, boom, ping dong, ting tong, boom, ting dong, ting tong. So I say you, and he's singing da 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 da, all of that going on. You can't add anything to it to mess up the melody. So I do a simple doubling the melody for the bass and emphasize it, and then add harmony to it with different colors, little things, to give the idea of motion, to give the idea of moving forward. And that is the end of my presentation today.
I think y'all could do a better round of applause than that. I think you could give Rand a better round of applause than that. For sure, for sure, for sure. Thank you so much, Mr. Blackman, and thank you so much to the teacher ensemble. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go to our breakout groups. Same tutors from yesterday, you know your rooms already. Mr. Blackman has put the lead sheet in the chat for you to use. You're going to give them, allocate different, right. So he's going to allocate different sections to you. So I'll let him do that now.
This piece is actually quite short. I would like the following ideas to be for you to try. The block chord idea, that is one. Melody doubling and unison versus harmony. So room one.
Upstairs, which is Mr. Cole.
Right, Mr. Cole. I think you can do the block chord concept for the first four bars of the piece. Block chord concept for the first 4 bars of the piece.
Cool. Mr.
Right.
Farley, room 2.
Mr.
Farley, room
Mr.
2.
Farley is room 2.
Farley here?
Yeah, I saw. He's outside.
Okay.
Mr. Farley. Sir. Yes, sir. Can you do the unison versus harmony idea for the B section of the song? Yes, please. As in wait here, but what's that? Pa da 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 pa da pa da 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 da, that section. Da 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 pa da pa da. Unison versus harmony for that section. I sent you the chart in there. And then the remainder can do just simple harmonizing the melody.
Okay, so that'll be room 3 and 4.
Yes, please.
Mr. Clark, Mr. Husbands is here. I didn't see him. Mr. Yearwood, can you handle out there, right?
So you're just simply harmonizing the melody. And this is the
And your group, you will have a group as well.
the beginning. Ta da do do di do do da 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 do da da do da do da 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 boom ba da. Yeah, full harmonization.
All right, cool. So Mr. Paris is here first. He was upstairs with Mr. Cole. We're going to listen to what they came up with. You have a student to do reflection.
Right, so like we are teachers, we know students don't like being placed on the spot. So I can help, I can be with them all the way, right? So we had the melodic line, and we did some block chords. You use the mic, block chords. So how we come up with the notes for the alto, tenor, and trombone voice? Because the trumpet got the melody.
We use the notes below
The roots.
of the melodic line.
Right, so the melodic note, and then the next note below went to which voice? The next voice, which was the alto. And then the next note below went to the tenor saxophone. And then we realized that except for the 5/7, which has 4 notes, the trombones had nothing to play. And then we came up with 2 options. And that was?
So double the melodic note.
So in one voice, in 4 bars, we doubled the melodic line.
And then the next, are the first or second?
The first.
First
What we do?
4 bars, we use the root, an octave below.
Yes. All right, cool. All right.
And we also used a 2-5-1 chord progression, but we didn't like how that sounds, so we used
Use
it was 4-1 chord
yeah.
progression.
So, yeah, give them a round of applause. We can play. Mr. Paris can play it now. It is the hardest thing sometimes to come in front of your peers and talk about anything. Anything at all. So, everything there said, so we tried the chorus substitution from yesterday's session as well, but I told them, the ears, your ears, trust who you like. Listen to both. So they chose to stay with the 4-1 at the end, as opposed to the 2-5-1 ending, and then the 2 examples of the block chords. First 4 bars, roots of the chord in the trombone voices, in trombone voice. The second 4 bars, trombone double the melodic line an octave lower.
Okay, cool. Give them a round of applause for that. That was nice. All right, so next, Mr. Yearwood, you ready? Or Mr. Clark? Okay, Mr. Clark. We hand over to Mr. Clark. You can use that mic there.
Hey, good afternoon again. What my group did, they decided to go a slightly different route. They took the melody from the trumpet and placed it in the saxophone. So the alto and the tenor is carrying the melody, and the trumpet and the trombone are playing the supporting background lines, right? When we got to bar 3, we saw a very unusual chord. It's a C7. Anybody know the notes in a C7? Well, except my group. C, E, G, and again, and B flat. Very good, very good. So that's the C7 chord. So we looked at how we were going to voice lead, and up until that point, we had a slight issue where we had a C to the bottom and the B flat to the top. So we had to talk a bit about guide tones, right? The notes within the chord that makes the chord either a minor or major or dominant chord or etc. So when we use the E, because we realize that there is not a right or a wrong. It's all about preference. So when we use the E, it gives the piece a bit more weight, right? The C, the E, and the B flat. And then from bar 5 to 8, we had a three-part harmony with the trombone playing the roots and voice leading throughout until the end. And this is what it sounds like. Yes, sir. That's it.
No, a round of applause. Give them a round of applause. Nice. All right. Mr. Yelwood, you ready?
Good afternoon. All right, so I have two students who are going to, only one, who's going to do a reflection on our group.
Good afternoon. We took the original chords and we broke them down. We spelled them out and we found chords that kept the same notes as the original chords. And we made a choice as whether to use, well, which chord we wanted to use that maintained the original notes. So for the first 4 bars, for the F, we changed it to A minor. And we also did that for the second bar. And then we brought down the B flat, which has in B flat and D, and we chose the D minor. And then for the C7, instead of changing the chord, which would have potentially complicated the melody of the music, we kept the C7. And for bar 4, we made the B flat into D minor again. And then we changed the F to C major. For the second 4 bars, in bar 7 we had a C7, and then to start bar 8 we had a C7 as well, and we kept the F so that we had a perfect cadence.
Or the other thing that I asked them to take note of when you're dealing with the 7th chord in terms of your voice leading and arranging for brass ensemble as we did, the instrument that is carrying the 7th, which is the B flat, you resolve that to the 3rd of the following chord. And that is one of the standard rules for voice leading with 4-part harmony. And this is what we ended up with in terms of our sound.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Yearwood. All right. Give Mr. Yearwood and his group a round of applause as well. All righty. Mr. Farley, you want to reflect on your group? Where's Google? Google, come. Here comes Google. You can get audio, just explain it.
All right. Basically speaking, we looked at 4 bars, right? We had F chord, ta da ta ta da ta da ta 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 da. 4 bars, right? The John belly, mama belly swell with cassava. Good. So we had F chord, C7, C7, F in the last bar. What did we do on the first bar, Papa Google?
I believe you used the, you meant as a solo.
Right, so we use a solo voice in the first bar. Ta-da, ta-ta-ta. We did that in the trumpet alone. Just by itself, so all the other things were gone. In the second bar, what did we do?
You switched the solo to a trumpet or trombone, I can't remember.
The solo voice, ta 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 da ta da, that went to the alto sax. So pa pa pa, softer now on the alto sax, ta da ta da. But in the second bar now, what we did was to put the supporting harmony in the tenor sax. So we just chose ta ta F notes in the tenor sax from the chord tones, and they were there. Trombone not in yet. The other instruments not in yet. So you have the trumpet, alto sax, tenor sax. The trumpet is out on the second bar. Third bar was?
The same thing, but you switch it to a different.
No, in switch. It was unison
yeah.
on the third bar. So everybody was playing the same thing in the third bar.
And the fourth bar was harmony, right?
And we harmonized then. We spread the harmonies in the fourth bar. And we were careful. It was going from a C7 to an F chord, right? Perfect cadence, dominant seventh, going to chord 1. The seventh in the dominant normally falls to the third of the next chord. So you have that, it's kind of a double appoggiatura movement anyhow. So the seventh would fall to the third. The leading note, which would, in this case, in a C7 chord, the leading note is an E. The leading note would go to the tonic. So whichever instrument is playing E, that would lead to F. Whichever instrument is playing the B flat, that would fall to the A. And then it's free for all around there. That is what the same voice leading that Mr. Blackman was speaking about earlier this morning, right? So that was basically it. You'll hear the audio example later, okay?
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. We're going to go to lunch shortly. Yeah, in another minute or so. Mr. Blackman, I just recognized something that we wanted to point out to you. A lot of students were asked to do reflections. Many of you shied away from doing it because you don't want to speak. Remember that one of the components for CXC is that you have to do your own reflection, your own discussion with the the examiner. You have to be able to express yourself in front of the examiner. So you can't be shy. Cannot be shy. You have to rehearse talking to people. You have to be able to converse with people. Yes, please. Huh? No, same, that's fine. You should be able to, regardless of when you are called on, whether it's one-on-one, whether it's in a group, you have to have that confidence to be able to say, this is what I did. This is how I approached it. This was my thought process. 3 simple things, okay? So practice talking to yourself in the mirror, look in the mirror, speak to yourself, converse with your friends about it, converse with your teachers so that you get accustomed to using the jargon and the order in which you're going to use it. Have your thought process plan, right? Go ahead, Ryan.
Based on what you all did this morning, writing down what you did, when we talk about the planning of it, this will definitely help you with that, where you write down from the beginning to the end what you did, how you went about getting your chord structure, everything, so that when you review it, that is in your head, that you can now speak about it. So it's a true representation of what you did from the beginning to the end, aka planning, development, completion. So if you can speak to your invigilator about that, yeah, boy.
As examiners, and you can't explain it, I'm going to doubt that you actually did the arrangement because you can't speak about your process, right? So just something to think about, yeah? That's it? Covered? All right, good. We just want to know, in unison, can every single student in this room spell the C dominant 7 chord? Spell the notes in a C dominant 7 chord. So I'm going to count to 4. Hold on. I'm going to count to 4. And we want to see if everybody can spell those notes together. By the way, anybody does not know the notes in that C dominant 7 chord, by the end of this session, you should know because it's been repeated a couple of times. Anybody does not know, do not be afraid to say. Don't tell me yet. I wonder if you don't know the chords in a C dominant 7 chord. The notes, sorry, in a C dominant 7 chord. Anybody does not know. Okay, good. So after 4, okay, together. And if somebody didn't know it, or they call the wrong letter, right, you correct them for me. So 1, 2, 3, 4. First one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Good. Very good. Give yourselves a round of applause. Good. So at this time, we give Mr. Blackman a round of applause, all the group facilitators for their work that they did with you, the teacher performers, etc. And we have arranging for steel pan in the afternoon.